You're listening to the Business of Pharmacy podcast with me, your host, Mike Kelzer. Well, hello, Adam.
Hello there.
Thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I know that in the little talk we had just before we started here, you're actually at your place of, well, we'll call it your place of business right now, even though you're a student, you're at the hospital.
Right. So this is my second API rotation. I'm here real early in the morning, and so that way I can have time to do my day job in the evening.
Your day job in the evening.
Yeah, so I work for Cirque du Soleil full time. So I'm putting 40 hours a week there, and then I go to the hospital and I put in 40 hours a week here.
Whoa. Big schedule.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a ton. Is it varied enough that if someone told you had to put 80 hours in at the hospital there, or 80 hours at the Cirque du Soleil, would either of those work, or is it okay to have that balance, or is it better, I should say, to have the balance of the two?
I'd say it's better, just because they're so different from each other, so often that I don't necessarily get tired of doing one thing or the other in any given day. Right. Are you going 7 days a week on that?
Oh
yeah, I don't get a day off.
No day off. Well, that's quite a load. I know you got some kids too, right?
Right. I have 5 kids.
You have 5 kids. I only have 10.
The oldest is...
I only have 10, so you're almost there.
Yeah, we're halfway.
Yeah.
Oldest is 12 years old, and the youngest is 4 months old.
Hey, congratulations.
Thanks.
Way to go. All right, so, Adam, tell us how you got into this excitement of this 80-hour life with 5 kids. For any of the listeners that don't know you, just take us back a bit. Get us caught up to who you are and where you are now.
Well, I have an undergraduate degree in theater from Brigham Young University, and I started my career by coming down to Vegas from there, and I worked at the MGM Arena just as an on-call stagehand, and I've worked my way into Cirque du Soleil because it's at the time it was one of the big companies where people who were in theater could actually have can actually settle down, have a family, things like that. A lot of people that I've met along the way, they've had to go on tour or do cruise ships or, piece together so many other side jobs that they really don't have time for a family. And so that's one of the problems that I had faced in transitioning to where I am now. That's what I was trying to solve by doing all this. Even though I'm currently with Cirque du Soleil, I've had a lot of interesting highlights in my theater career. I was in a Transformers movie, and I've worked as a magician's assistant for a show here on the Strip. I've even been a gondolier at the Venetian.
Oh, is that right?
So, yeah.
No
sing
kidding.
Italian, pretend I'm Italian, all that.
I got to stop you a second on the Transformers. I had seen that in your profile or on your IMDb. I think my kids are watching that. Is that one of the? Was there a couple and then a couple more or something like that? Or
right. So they did 3 movies, a trilogy with Shia LaBeouf.
And which one are you in?
I'm the first one with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, the first one with Mark Wahlberg, because my kids are watching that now. All right, so I've got to watch for you in that. So what will I see you in that?
Yeah, you'll definitely see me. I'm about 8.5 minutes in.
Okay.
Kelsey Grammer's character, he's the antagonist, and he's upset that people are stealing robot parts. And then it jumps to me all over the big screen. My character's name is Timothy, and he's selling a giant robot part.
Okay, I'll watch for that, because they were just talking last night, and my kids were talking about. In fact, we were just talking about this last night with Shiloh and then Mark Wahlberg. Your name didn't come up, but I'm sure if we talked a little longer, your name would have come up in the conversation. But it will today, certainly.
For sure.
Yeah. So the Vegas jobs, any kind of a Vegas job type of thing would keep you in a city longer than going around different areas.
Absolutely. But so Cirque du Soleil has kind of established itself. And I mean, some of their shows have run for 20 years or more. And so it was attractive at the time, but there's always the chance that show is going to be dropped, that they're going to, put something else in. The theater, the hotel is dissatisfied with how the show is going. I mean, like right now I'm on Michael Jackson 1. I've been here for 4 years. But with the recent controversy over Michael Jackson, we weren't sure if we were going to have a show. But we seem to be doing okay. And but again, there's there's always that inconsistency. There's always the chance that the show could be dropped and I'm out of a job.
Yeah, right. Right. All right. So that brings you to thinking about a more stable career. How does pharmacy come about then?
Well, I'm a man of faith. I know you are too. I was thinking about different career moves, and I looked into my family history, and I felt really impressed to look at what my ancestors did. My grandfather and his father before him were both pharmacists. They owned a little pharmacy in a little town called Victoria, Texas, and I felt strongly impressed to follow in their footsteps, and that if I did that, I would actually have their help kind of on the other side to get me through. And I've certainly felt that through this transition.
Oh, that's great. I probably did that too, but then I end up finding out that my dad and my grandpa flunked a lot of classes.
Yeah, maybe you don't need their help through class.
Oh, that's great. All right, so you're doing that, and boy, and you've got then a few kids probably by that time, right?
Yeah. We had 3 kids by the time my wife and I decided we should make this transition.
Wow. It's quite a jump because it's time, but it's also, you know that you're going to need the mental time for that.
Absolutely. It's been a sacrifice for sure. I am a family man. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I got in with Cirque is so I could, have a family.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I felt that kind of strength and help and support from the other side of the, from my ancestors and my community. I mean, my church has been very supportive. My family has been supportive, even though none of them live here in Vegas. I have felt their strength and their prayers. So
yeah. Okay, so how long had you been out of school before you're plopped in a chair at pharmacy school? What's the distance between those two timelines?
Right. I graduated my undergraduate degree in 2005, and so 12 years or 10, 12 years?
Yeah,
it's been 12 years now, but let's see, I'm 3 years deep.
So 9,
and
9,
I also
10
had
years.
I had to go back to school to get some undergraduate credits because, I don't need a lot of chemistry and biology for a theater degree.
Yeah, right.
So it's been 5 years. On this particular trek. So
5 years on that. Yeah, I was when I was in pre-pharmacy for a couple years, and I went down to the seminary for a year, and then I studied theology for about a half a year. And on the one hand, I got some really great time to do some writing and reading and different things like that. But it sure was a difference between those kind of those two different kind of classes, and that's like yours. Yours is probably a combo that that people don't see too often. Now, in your theater, if I'm reading that correctly, you do certainly have a technological, scientific mind, because you're doing some of that in the show stage, aren't you? As far as the background stuff in that.
Absolutely. So I have done some acting, but most of my theater career has been backstage. I've been a spotlight operator, a light board operator, and I'm currently doing LED lights that are in the costumes for Michael Jackson 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've done my fair share of soldering, programming, things like that. You have to be very computer savvy to get some of this work done.
Yeah, I bet. All right. So then you're at school, and I imagine going into that, especially maybe even before you started, there's some highs and lows. Did you ever get to the point of too low, or has it been just a steady stream of being tired?
It's been a lot of tired, a lot of low, but the way that our school is set up, instead of having semester-long classes, we have these 2-week blocks, right? And we test every 2 weeks. And a lot of students at our school get in this cycle of not studying for a week and then cramming for a week. Right. I've worked really hard to stay out of that habit, because it's real hard to catch up. I've had to really pace myself and do things the way that it's supposed to be done, the way it was actually set up to do, where you just do a little bit every day and you just keep working at it. And it means long days and short nights, but there's the occasional block where we work on some of the softer skills, and I've already got those down. So those tend to be my breaks.
Yeah, right.
And times to catch up. Yeah,
right. Well, so the what attracted me to you, Adam, was although you're a student, you're reaching out on social in ways that students would, but maybe not the same. I think you've got a bit more. It seems like you've been around a bit to know that your brand is maybe more than, I guess more than Instagram. I mean, it's more than, pretty pictures of yourself. And I never had that option, because I can't take it. I've got a face for podcasts, I guess they say, but you're in the area of, and many are, but percentage wise, not many are, but you're in the area of LinkedIn and things like that. Tell me your, and I guess from theater you've seen that, but tell me, let's talk about your brand, and let's spend some time on that, your brand, and where you pick that up. Where are you going, and how it's been helping you?
Right. So, I've always kind of seen, like where I lack, compared to the other students. A lot of them have time to, work in, pharmacy. And so they're quite familiar with a lot of the drugs already. And, they have time to do things like study, where they can sit down and look at the words, where I maybe don't have that time. So kind of to make up for that lack, I started listening to pharmacy podcasts. And there's some really great ones out there, I can attest to. I currently follow probably 10 to 12 of them right now. But it started with...
So God forbid, you're actually talking about scientific podcasts, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
It's not... what is it, Joe Rogan or whatever?
Yeah, right. You're talking
In
ones
fact,
that will boost things that are going on in class, basically.
yeah. In fact, I've listened to Mike Corvino's Core Consult RX podcast.
Hmm.
That's been really helpful because he really goes into the clinical aspects of drugs. He'll spend 30 minutes to an hour per episode and really start covering things that I am covering in class, but at a different time. And it really helps to repeat and
Wow.
reiterate things that I'm learning. And it's been very helpful.
That's great.
But I'm also listening to podcasts like Talk to Your Pharmacist podcast and RX Radio. And those have really opened my eyes to like the possibilities of pharmacy and really to get a flavor of what is happening in the world of pharmacy right now. It's been very eye-opening following those podcasts because I really get the strong impression that that things are changing and that it's a good idea to pay attention and figure some of these things out before I graduate, because by the time I graduate, it's going to be too late to figure things out.
Right.
So Richard Waite runs the RX Radio.
Richard. Yep, talked to him last week.
Yeah, exactly. I'd actually connected with him on LinkedIn because I'd been following his podcast, and one of his big principles that he tries to get across to other pharmacists is to build your brand. And how do you do that? Well, you have to get yourself out there. And I really took his advice and sort of used him as a mentor in this whole process. Found areas of pharmacy that I've been passionate about enough to create a lot of content. And so I started my own podcast on top of 40 hours of work, 40 hours of school.
Yeah.
And so between Richard and Mike, they've really motivated me, pushed me, and got me to where I am right now, where I am building content, providing good material out there for perhaps other pharmacists to look at and kind of establish who I am or who I want to be by the time I graduate.
Yeah, I like that, who you want to be, because none of us, once in a while you'll see someone come out and they'll be like 22 years old and they'll be the God's gift to a life coach or something. And you're like, no, not at 22. But I know what you mean by that, who you want to be. You're clearing the road a little bit. You're clearing the road. When you talk about the podcast, obviously the audio is taking off a lot in these days because of the ability, I guess, people have realized that you don't need your eyes when you're using your ears. And so maybe it lets more people multitask. When are you listening to these podcasts on different breaks and things? You don't drive a whole lot, do you?
I've got a 20-minute ride, especially to the hospital right now, and I've got a 20-minute ride to work.
I see.
So I do quite a bit of listening while I drive. I also have times during my breaks, and also even when I'm working, when there's just a lot of mundane physical tasks that I can just put an earbud in and listen while I work. In fact, we have a machine here at the hospital pharmacy called a box picker.
Yeah.
When it's time to load the Pyxis machines, I can sit at that box picker for a couple hours pulling out drugs, and I just pop in my earbud, and I'm still aware of everything else that's going around, but I can kind of half pay attention to the podcast, maybe get more clinical knowledge and more repetition, and figure out what's going on in the community of pharmacy. And I have podcasts about hobbies as well. So
yeah, are the podcasts for the School of Pharmacy, the more medical side? Well, let me ask it this way: are all of the college pharmacies, are they studying about the same thing at the same time, or is one pharmacy school compared to a different one might be studying the drugs 5 months apart or the chemistry 5 months apart, or does it seem to be go in stages all across all the pharmacy schools?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. There's a couple different models of pharmacy school. I feel like I'm in kind of a unique one because it's a block plan instead of
Oh, that's right.
semester-wide.
Yes, right.
So for me, it's pretty different.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, I'll have 2 weeks of pulmonology, and then I'll have 2 weeks of cardiology. Instead of having like an overarching class that spans 3 months, I have 2 weeks, and it's just that.
Right. What have you found from your podcasting so far that your social use so far that has made you some interesting connections? I know you talked about Richard and so on. I imagine there's some things that happen when you engage yourself that you didn't necessarily think would happen. Like I know right now that I've seen a ton of students come through my eyes on social and things. But with your interaction with me over the last few weeks, it's like, golly, Adam's got something here and I need to talk to him. I'm sure that you, like Richard and so on, I'm sure it's been the same pattern where if you show an interest, I guess people like to share.
Yeah. I mean, it's been an interesting experience just how much things have kind of exploded having launched this podcast, because as I have reached out, I have felt many people's hands. It almost chokes me up how promising it feels to have people reach out. We had this discussion today. I'm talking to 2 other podcasters on Thursday this week. Maybe not necessarily for material for their podcast, but I'm building that network that Richard had said is so important, and that people across the profession recognize as being important. It's not all as easy as just attending your pharmacy convention. It doesn't happen like that anymore. You have to really get out there and use the tools of social media to build that network. And I feel like I've connected with people already, and things are starting to happen, so that by the time I do graduate, there's going to be something there. There'll be work, there'll be a job to catch me, which was really kind of the impetus for all of this. I have a family that relies on me being able to provide for them. I can't afford to graduate from pharmacy and then just stop working in theater. I need to have something there. I need to have something stable and ready to go. So that's really what's driving me to put material out there, to reach out, to make friends, to connect with people. And it's been very rewarding so far to find other people who are willing to connect.
Yeah, you can't afford to have that momentum stop. You got to be rolling through this when things end, and pick right back up with hopefully some money coming in.
Exactly.
And along with those connections, why do you think that? Why do you think you have stood out so readily compared to your other classmates in social, being that they're the generation of, and when I say generations have gotten smaller now, but let's say even someone 20 or 30 years younger than me and 10 years younger than yourself, what have you found that has pushed you more than them? And I know one of them is just the pressure on your back to keep things rolling. Is there anything else that you think has gotten you up and going on this more than your classmates?
Well, I'm sure that some of it is just being a bit more mature because I am 10 years, in some cases 20 years older than my classmates. There's a maturity and an awareness. I feel like I'm living my life with my eyes open, which just comes with a maturity, with experience. A lot of the students that I go to school with, I feel like they don't feel the necessity or the urgency to build their network, to look outside and beyond a school. They just see the school that's in front of them. And to be honest, when I was doing my undergraduate, that's how I felt too. I mean, I didn't have any necessity to look beyond that graduation date until I was there. So I kind of
I think there's a sense of catch up. Basically in where we are.
Yeah, like I understand their lack of pressure, I guess to say, and as most of them are single, or at the very least, they're not parents yet. So their responsibilities are pretty low, and they can get through school and just focus on this one aspect. And then, when they graduate, then they can focus on doing what they got to do.
Yeah, then they'll have their time then. I love what you said in another podcast that I caught of you saying that this is the new social interaction. And I thought back to my years of being myself in different pharmacy groups in town, different church groups, different, pharmacy boards and things. And boy, this is certainly, for me, I know it certainly replaced years ago when I would wake up at 6:30 or something, and with my dad, we'd go to some of these different meetings. And it's not the same. It's better in some aspects and worse in some aspects, but it certainly has, I think, replaced it. If you look at a lot of those groups and meetings that have gone down, that seems like we used to always go to.
Right. And I mean, I think it's still important to participate in those groups. I think we need to stick together as pharmacists with, APHA. I'm going to ASHP mid-year in December. I do plan on doing a residency, and I know that meeting is an important one to go to. However, I think it's important to, on top of going to those meetings, make a presence out there, and it's paying off so far.
That's great. Because you look at those. The great thing I love is the synergy that goes with them, where quite often you'll go to one of those meetings, and I don't go quite as often anymore. All I do is stand in the corner and eat all the muffins and stuff. But it's great, the synergy, because you'll meet somebody that you'll meet someone that you're able to follow up with forever, basically. Or you'll finally meet someone in person that you've had that contact with on social before, at least once or twice, with some messages going back and forth. And it's very satisfying to be able to spend that time and have that pay off when the personal visit does actually happen.
Absolutely. I think that's kind of a key point. It's building those relationships before the meeting happens, so that when you're face to face, it really becomes a meaningful connection.
Yeah, there was back in the old days when I would do more print advertising and phone book advertising and so on. I never trusted what the salespeople told me, but from my own reading in the marketing books, it would just say that when people see your ad, or vice versa, they see your store and then see your ad, it's not a one-time thing. It's like, okay, I've seen them again, and so now I trust them more. or vice versa. I've seen them in person, so I trust them
Exactly.
more. And I think that's where it is. It's that level of trust. And you see people a few times, and we've even asked people in the pharmacy, you'd say, how did you decide to finally come with us or to use our pharmacy? And they're like, well, I saw I saw you on TV. And it's like, well, I haven't been on TV, or I haven't done that in this area, that kind of thing. People don't really know. They just have that trust that somehow they know you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you said, it comes with repetition. It comes with multiple different kinds of exposure. And that's really what I'm doing. I just get myself out there and connect as often and in as many different ways as I can.
Well, that's great. You're a mentor to look up to for students coming. So I encourage anybody listening to hop on Adam's stuff. 2 questions for you, Adam, before we take off.
Yeah.
One, what keeps you up at night at this point in your life? What's your biggest stressor? And I don't want to get personal, but I mean on your schedule. What's your biggest thing that it's always on your mind?
With everything that I've sort of set up for myself to do as far as work and school and now the podcast, I never feel like I have enough time for my family. And like I keep saying, like that's my number one motivation. That's the reason why I'm doing all of this. And the fact that I have to sacrifice so much of that in order to protect that has been difficult.
Yeah, it seems like a weird balance, because you're doing it for them, but you wonder that there's that distance sometimes. So that's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. All right, so now let's go the opposite side. Now let's all of a sudden say that you have enough. You've got enough money, let's say. What are you doing with your time if money were no longer a issue? What would you be doing in this next couple months? Would you still be doing this, still be doing that? Would you be quitting this? What would you be doing?
Well, if money weren't an issue, I would absolutely quit my job so that I could focus on school and family. But I think I would stick with this path of pharmacy. I think it's an exciting time to get into pharmacy. I know it's a little scary right now with some of the recent layoffs that we've heard about, and just the evolution of technology and how that's affecting pharmacy. It can be scary, but it's also an exciting time. And I see an opportunity to not only support my family, but to help other people, and to really be a source of knowledge for health for other people. And that excites me. And that's actually one of the reasons that I do my podcast. Is as much as it's extra work on top of everything I'm doing, it's really the thing that's giving me life right now. It gives me energy and it keeps me awake when I haven't had enough sleep, because I'm looking at things that could really affect people's lives, and it's stuff that's beyond the magic pill that everybody's hoping for out of Western medicine.
Yeah, right.
So it's exciting, and I think I would keep going with it.
That's you would stick with.
Yeah.
Yeah. What words do you have for anybody listening to this right now that says, I got to take some steps to do this, whatever position they're in? They say, I got to make some moves that Adam has done. What advice would you give to that person, whether they're in pharmacy or not, but some kind of a business, learning a business pursuit, but maybe not quite out there yet, officially producing in terms of the business?
There's a lot that could be said. I never felt that I'm a particularly smart person. I just know how to work hard. So, if you feel like you need to do something, don't look for reasons to say no. You just figure out the yes. That's what's gotten me this far in what I've done. No isn't an option. And so I keep finding the yes. You just keep going.
Keep finding things that do work.
Yeah. You just figure it out, figure out how to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep accomplishing your goals.
Yeah, and it seems like those things, they're not in a vacuum because they build on each other, because one day you do this and the next day, well, now you know how to do this and you know how to do this part.
Right.
Yeah.
I think understanding your why, the purpose, your drive, I think that has helped me as well. Just figuring out what motivates you, what interests you, what are you passionate about. I've been able to get as far as I've gotten and do what I'm doing because I've really taken not a whole lot of time, but enough time to really figure some of these things out, to know what I'm really passionate about and how that ties into what I'm studying, and make those connections that are important to me.
Yeah, I know that's huge, because in pharmacy school, it seems like the people that were there and the people that had some years on me at the time would just do so much better than I did. And I know a good handle of that, a good portion of that was a focus. They knew exactly why they were there. They knew exactly what their, for that day, they knew exactly why they were there and what their purpose was that day.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. If you have focus, then you're not wasting time and energy on things that are exterior to that. You're really focused in on that one thing. You're not going to waste time on things outside of that.
Yeah, so true. Well, Adam, pleasure to meet you.
It was great to meet you too.
Yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to following you on social and seeing what ideas come up so I can steal them from you.
Yeah, well, that's a concept in theater. You're only as good as the people you steal from, so feel free.
I love it. All right. God bless, Adam. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Talk to you again. This was the Business of Pharmacy podcast with me, your host, Mike Kelzer. Please subscribe for future episodes.